Hi, I'm Caroline,
And I'm Megan,
and this is The Songwriter Diaries.
a podcast by songwriters for songwriters. Hello.
Hey. How's it going, guys?
We're back. And we're back and better than ever with Derek Dames Ohl. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did. Nailed
Okay,
it.
good.
Man.
And we're so excited to have you here.
I'm happy to
Hello.
be here. I'm glad we were able to make it happen.
Yeah, me
Sweet.
too. Derek and I played a So Far like a couple months ago, and I was so blown away and you provided sound for all of us too. It was so nice. And it sounded great. You made me sound so good. I feel like I still have some videos from that, and I was like, dang, like the reverb, you EQ'd the guitar. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, well, I think I'm just a
Um,
diva, so I needed the sound for myself. So
I like that.
Yes.
I
As you
respect
should
that.
be. Yeah, as you
Yeah.
should be.
Well, let's just dive right in. Have you start off by introducing yourself and tell us a little bit how you got started in music.
Totally. Yeah, my name's Derek Dames Ohl, and I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, and grew up playing in a rock and roll jam band, actually, and still do play in it. It's called Flash Mountain Flood. We've been playing since 2015, 2016, and gone through that whole thing. I'm a bass player in that band, so for years and years, we went through all the different hoops of playing 5 nights a week to having to deal with radius clauses and hitting the road and stuff like that. I definitely learned, got a lot of my bearings through those years. And over the years, being a bass player in a band and, as a songwriter as well, I miss writing my own songs and doing a lot of more of my own stuff. So, it was like a classic story of just went to wood songs in Boulder and saw a cheap Taylor acoustic guitar and was just like, I'm going to buy this guitar and try to pay it off with some gigs that I could book just playing solo somewhere, at a coffee shop or whatever. And then next thing you know, everything else is history. I just dug a really deep hole. I've been trying to climb myself out of it. No.
You're like, I'm stuck here forever.
And now this is who I am.
Yeah, I got bit by the bug. But no, I do truly love
Yes.
it. It's like all I could ever imagine myself doing. And I do play about 4 or 5 nights a week these days and, pay my bills with it. So I'm just even that. I'm thankful to be able to do that. And, yeah, prove all my high school teachers
awesome.
wrong.
Yes. We love proving people wrong.
That's all we're doing.
Oh, it's the greatest feeling.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Okay, so do you book all of your own shows?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, I need advice. Listeners need advice. How do you do it? And what advice do you have for people looking to do it for themselves?
I mean, it snowballs. It's one of those things that will snowball. It's just like anything because all you're doing is making connections with people. And you go play the gig and you do well. You play your songs, they dig it. They'll call you back. For one, I think it's funny because these days we're obviously in the age of technology, so everyone's on their laptops and everyone thinks to email and everyone thinks to like go through that process. But a lot of times, if you're not dealing with a venue that has their own booking agent or someone who specifically does that job, the person who's going to be booking the gigs is like a bartender or they're doing something else there and they're not checking their email every 5 minutes to see if some songwriter dude wants to come play. So one thing I've noticed for friends who are trying to do it is that it's easy to be like, man, I've emailed these people like 3 times and no one's getting back to me, or I can't get any response and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's good to remember that is just someone who's just doing their job. And then to keep that in mind and think about it in a perspective of like, if this is like a brewery and they're open on a Tuesday, got the dogs barking for that one. But if it's like a brewery, but if it's a brewery that's open on a Tuesday, give them a call like an hour or two after they open. Because, that's when they're kind of just getting things ready. It's
Yeah.
slow. You got to think like that. Like, when is it slow? Or like, go in there and meet them in person. Like, get business cards. Like, me personally, I'm way better in person than I am over an email. Like anybody is, really. So I think it's about being
Yeah.
personable and trying to get beyond that barrier of just sending emails and stuff like that. Like, try to go and meet the people, talk to them, build relationships, and then they'll tell their friends who have businesses, and it all snowballs from there. I'd say that you do have to like come up with other things outside like of music to kind of a routine, just like to be somewhat of a normal human being one way or the other. And so I honestly, these in the last year, I've been trying to be more active, and I do try to go to the gym. I try to like walk and do that in the morning, get my brain working. Um, and then a lot of the day is either going through emails and stuff, trying to catch up on the back end. Cause like from the last question, as someone who's does everything booking and management and keeps up with my website, and I try to do all my graphic design and stuff, I do have to kind of plan out my days, and I don't find it easy to mix creative days with like business get stuff done days kind of. So I have to like be like, maybe this day I'm going to go to the gym and get all ready and then try to go write some music or write some songs and kind of like focus the day on that and not have your head on emails and like looking at your laptop or looking at your phone. So I think I sometimes I do have to plan out my week in that way, and to like know when I'm going to do this or that, kind of mix the days up. But got to stay active, got to do things that inspire
Yeah.
the music, like go on a hike and, watch a squirrel like run around a tree for 10 minutes for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think routine is so important
Yeah.
too. Like just
Mhm.
figuring out what works for you. And because I find it so hard to be productive without a routine in place. It's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. What is my
Oh,
life? I'm just floating around this day. And I think it's helpful to have that like set schedule.
totally.
Mhm.
Super important, I think. And it just helps you feel, I mean, when you have say if you have a day where you have a gig and you don't have to be there till 6 o'clock, it's like that feeling of working the night shift and like all day you're like either pacing, and if you don't just set yourself to do something, then it could be either a bummer of a day or a day just spent thinking about wrong things. Keeping the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true. Mhm.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah,
Yes.
I do lately. I've been, especially since it's summertime, I've been trying to find days or ways to just like go out and like, go up into the mountains and just have some days that are just for fun, you know, because then something else might come from
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
days are so
they are.
important where it's like you don't have to do anything
Right.
that
Mhm.
is, productive or successful. Like you can just be.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Mhm.
that's so important.
Exactly.
So after you finish writing a song, what does your revision process look like? Like once everything's all done, do you go back? Do you change things?
Big time. I mean, I'd say I'm like really good at just like getting stuff on paper to start, but like everything is a revision process for me. Is going in and fine tuning it because I'll just like blah, like bunch of words or
Yeah.
you know. I in the last year or when COVID happened, you wouldn't believe it because I don't have my fancy mic in front of my face because I'm a dummy, but I do have a nice little recording set up in my house. I set up when COVID started, like most of us musicians did, um, and ever since then, I kind of gone through this process where I'll write a song and I'll instantly try to record it as a demo, and like as like a pretty processed demo too, like not just like one mic and doing everything. Like I'll even try to do like different takes or do it to a click, almost pretend that I'm in a studio trying to record it, because then you really are looking back at your song and you're
Mhm.
really listening back, and it's like in my opinion the best way to be like, okay, didn't need that break between the verse or like this or that, or too many ands and is and all those words that don't need to be in songs sometimes, Um, so I've done that, and honestly, I have so much
Yeah.
fun doing it. It's just so much fun. I would like, it's like the best way to just have like 7 hours blast away when you just sit down in your little home studio and try to make something. And you're like, oh my god, I haven't eaten all day or done anything, and I'm pale as
Yeah.
hell. I need to get some sunlight.
Yes. You're just deep in the hole,
Yeah,
It's hard to get
Yeah,
out of the
deep in
hole.
climbing
that
that.
hole.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the revision, it's all about the revision for me, honestly. It's a big part of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
See, I struggle with revision so much. It's like I write something and then it's like I don't want to look at it again. It's done.
Is
It's
is
forever
it like
done.
where you
So,
maybe want someone else to
yeah,
look
I
at
need to
it,
work on that.
or like because sometimes people just want like separate
Yeah,
eyes
yeah,
on it, or a different opinion. I need that sometimes. Yeah.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
need that too. I really like it when I have people
Yeah.
to, yeah. Okay, so since you grew up in Boulder, I really was curious, like, like, what are your favorite and least favorite things about the Colorado, like, music, folk, bluegrass scene? Because it's so tight knit and really cool. So, like, what's your take on that?
Um, you know, Boulder's is especially interesting, I'd say, just because the whole music scene in Boulder has like changed drastically over the last like 10 years. Um,
Mhm.
Well,
Interesting.
I mean, and even like growing up and playing in Flash Mountain Flood, there was like 10 years ago. I feel like such an old guy. I hate saying that. 10 years ago. But anyway, there was like the Lazy Dog and Connor O'Neill's. There's places where bands or people could go play. And like Danny Schaefer was always hosting like an open mic at like Connor O'Neill's. And there was definitely, it was like more of the feel that every night you could go out somewhere and go do something musically, which is kind of how it is out in Denver too, if you know where to go or know what's going on.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
think it's interesting. I think that the community could be go both ways. Like there's like the part of it where it's like kind of more of us younger folk who I think are kind of all in it together, and we're all kind of coming up in it, and like
Mhm.
my gig is your gig kind of feel, or like we're scratching each other's backs. Um, and then there could be some more scenes of people who have been around for a long time, and they are all friends, and they're like maybe where we will be 10, 15 years down the line, and it might be harder to break into those circles sometimes, but it's not like I don't think I always I don't it took me a long time to believe that that's not out of any bad animosity, but that's more just that there is these tight knit circles, and there's people who have their communities, or like I think of Lions, for example.
Yeah.
Like Lions is very like it's a really, really awesome scene, but sometimes it's hard to get into if you're not like in that lion scene or living there, or, like a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so
Yeah.
true. Hmm.
Yeah.
What's your favorite city in Colorado to play in?
Hmm. Gosh. Does that have to be a city, or can it just be like anywhere in Colorado?
It could be
Yeah,
anywhere.
anywhere.
Paonia. Have you guys ever played there?
Ooh.
Are you
No.
No.
familiar? It's like it's kind of out
I don't
near
think
like
so.
Palisade, Grand Junction, but it's like tucked away little very like cool little community. Um if you get if you've been in the coffee shops around here, you've probably seen it, but the Big B's like apple juice, or like they sell like apple juice, and they're in
Oh,
all the coffee
okay.
shops. But Big B's is a place in Paonia, and it's this place. It's like a cidery slash vineyard slash like a place where food trucks pull up, and everyone just hangs out there. And they have a stage, and it's an
Oh,
awesome
cool.
community. I love going up in the mountains
That's
and
so
playing
fun.
personally. Palisade
Yeah.
too. I love Palisade. I'm definitely on a little more of the countryside, and it seems like people do enjoy that kind of older country, more like country folk music up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Not that
Oh,
they
for
don't
sure.
down
Yeah,
here
that's
too, but yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just looked up pictures and it looks so pretty.
Paonia. Oh,
Like I want to go
Yeah.
there now.
yeah,
Yeah.
you should. It's beautiful, and it's also wow. It's one of those parts of Colorado where like there's so much different like vegetation, and like you can find different fruit and stuff up there. They have these like things called bubblegum plums that like grow in Peonia.
Oh my gosh.
And there are these plums that literally taste like bubblegum. It's crazy.
That's so
What?
That's reason
random.
enough.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's reason
Only
enough
for
to
the
go.
plums.
No, but Big B's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you're going, go to
Okay.
Big B's in Peonia. They have an awesome lineup too of music. Like these days, they've been booking some pretty like kind of bigger name people. It's definitely worth it. But then there's other places to play in Peonia and Palisade and up there.
Yeah. That's
Can
so
I give
awesome.
another one though?
That's great.
Gold Hill
Oh,
is
yeah.
my other one. Yeah, the Gold Hill Inn or
I'm playing there this summer.
Are you? Nice.
Mhm.
Up at the inn, or are you playing at the pub? Like, there's a couple places.
At the inn.
Yeah.
I think with Ginger Bomb, a band that
Oh,
I'm in.
nice. Is that with Taylor Sims? Yeah. I think I've seen the posts. That's a great band.
Yeah.
Have you played there before?
So fun. No,
Oh.
I've never even been there before.
Oh.
But I've heard so much about it, so I'm
Well,
excited.
John Hartford used to hang out there and play there, so that's reason enough.
Yeah, that is reason enough.
You are the next John.
Yeah. You heard it here first,
Yeah,
folks.
You heard it here
Oh, man. No, that's a great spot, though. One of my favorites as well.
Cool.
Nice.
I love it. So if you could choose 3 musicians or bands to share a bill with, dead or alive, who would you choose?
Oh, my gosh. The Dead or Alive made it really hard.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, 3? Like 3 and me, or like 3 including me?
3 and
Okay.
you.
I'll say, okay. Well, just because I'm a hippie still at heart, I'll say the Grateful Dead with Jerry Garcia. Maybe
With-
like
Yep.
Yes.
1977 Jerry Garcia, like that age of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, gosh, that's a really hard one. John Prine. I'd have to say John Prine.
Yeah.
This lineup would be
Classic.
so good.
Right? I already want to go.
Yep.
Gosh, the third one I really got to think. And like, honestly, my answer, I feel like some people might be like, oh, like it's just like quintessential, but I'd say Bob Marley. You know, throw him on there. Just because honestly, I'm such a huge Bob Marley fan. Like through all of his songs, the deep cuts, like way back, like as a songwriter, one of the most amazing
Yeah.
songwriters, truly. Like,
Wow. I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
that. That was
Yeah.
cool.
No. No, that was a curveball you just threw.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I was expecting anyone
Really?
else
Yeah, Bob
besides
Marley.
But
Yeah.
but he would really round out that bill though.
I
He
mean,
would.
but could you imagine?
would.
Like, people always ask me, like, if you could bring someone back to see a show, and like, I
Mhm.
think I've had the same answer since I was in like 7th grade, and I'd say Bob Marley. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'd be the
I love
That's
it. So would you open
Oh, yeah.
and then John?
oh.
But then who would headline? The Dead or
Oh
Marley?
man, that's
Yeah.
a really hard call. I'd say Marley.
Marley, yeah. The Grateful Dead
Yeah.
opening, but they open with like a 4-hour set.
Yeah.
And then Bob Marley goes on.
And then
Yep.
everyone who's left. Yeah. no.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're like, no one else is playing.
That-
Oh, Bob Marley just
I
comes
guess
out.
that would be a really long show, wouldn't it?
It would be a long show, but it would be worth it. I
It
would
would be
be
so
there.
That would
Fun.
be worth it.
It'd be like a festival, like a day, like a
That is a
day.
day fest.
Yeah.
Did you guys ask that for every?
Yes.
Do you guys have your answers locked and loaded, or what?
Oh gosh, I do
Oh,
not.
I don't actually.
have
but
not-
we've started
I-
we've
I've
started
honestly not
asking
thought about
everyone
it. Did you?
this, and
It's a
like
great
such
question.
a fun
Yeah,
question.
it's a fun one.
Yeah, it's fun.
No, yeah, that
But yeah, no, I haven't even thought about it.
dude, the listeners want to
either.
know. They're gonna want to know.
Well,
We'll
actually,
think
I have
about
thought
it.
about it.
Oh, okay. Meg, give your answer, and then
Okay.
I'll think about it and give
Oh,
it
there you go.
in the intro or something.
That's a great idea.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Mhm.
Okay, so I would definitely want to play.
If it's not a
With-
Beatle, it's wrong.
that
Yeah.
was up
Okay,
there.
so I think
If it's not Paul,
So this is so hard because I would want to play with Madison Cunningham and Phoebe Bridgers, and that's already two. But then I would also want like
Yeah.
Paul McCartney and Joni
Damn.
Mitchell and Brandy Carlisle.
I say we just
Those are
allow
like
that.
two different shows. Yeah. Those are two separate shows. You have
Yeah.
one show with Phoebe and Madison,
Yeah.
and you. That's one show.
Yeah.
And then the other show is Joni, Paul,
And Brandy
and Brandy. Yep.
Damn.
and me.
Wow. That's a good answer.
And you're headlining.
Yeah,
You're obviously
you.
headlining. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my
Both
God.
nights you're obviously
Yeah.
headlining. Paul McCartney is opening for you. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll be like, back up, Paul. You're going first.
I know. It's just so hard to decide because we were talking about it earlier of there are so many musicians that I love and listen to and so many bands that wouldn't work with my music
it's
at
hard.
all. Like
Yeah.
I love Kendrick Lamar.
yeah.
Can you imagine me opening for Kendrick Lamar?
Oh.
No, absolutely not. But I'm obsessed with
Hey, you
him.
never know.
And I would want
Yeah.
that. So
You never know.
you never know. I just start rapping. I do a full career pivot. I'm just a white girl rapper now. I'm ready.
There's a good market.
I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a good market for it. Yep. Yep, they're really lacking right now. So what piece of advice would you give your younger self?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say to like to focus on having fun always, like number one beyond everything else. And like even in all the moments where there's so many moments if you're getting into it to like really, because you're putting your heart out there with your pen and paper or whatever, and it's very easy for it to like either go unlistened or whatever, and to be really sad or just sort of like take it to heart. It's so easy to take things to heart. I think I would try to find a way to tell myself not to take so much stuff to heart and to just like remember, you know, what the reason that you got into it all in the first place was, like beyond even thinking of like writing songs for a living or doing anything like that. Just like, why did you really start doing this? And it's always just for fun and like something that you love to do. Because like in the end of the day, it's a longevity game. If you're trying to play music for a living, you know, you just got to really do it for, I think, a long time, because you just build up relationships, like I was saying, or like everywhere you go, you're just, it's, you know, it's not like the old days where you think, you know, some people get lucky and can blow up overnight or whatever, drop a song on SoundCloud and next thing you know. But I'd say if you just focus on fun more than anything and just make sure that you love doing it all the time, then you're going to just keep doing it. And you get that, you just never want to sour it for any reason. That's everything else is all kind of made up, you know, like success and all that's like everything in our mind that we think of success, that person who reached that success is thinking of some other success. So like, you know, it's like chasing the tail. You got to just enjoy where you're at, I think, and be thankful for every moment of it, you know? That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I like that.
You also created a perfect segue.
Did I?
To our
You did.
final question of the
Wow.
Yes.
You literally said, like, why do you do it in the first place? And our last question is, why do you write songs?
That's, you know, that's a really good question. Someone else has asked me that before, and it totally stumped me. It's funny you asked that, because someone asked me that before, and it stumped me. But then, luckily for this moment right now, I've thought about that a good bit. And honestly, like, I think for me is like, there's so much going on, and you know, there's so much going on inside your head that, it's like a total release of lots of different, I don't know, like emotions, or if you go through a bad breakup or something like that. For me, sometimes writing a song even about vaguely about it or whatever about it can give me some sort of release of that emotion almost, you know? You know, and that question really stumped me, because I was trying to come up with some like epic answer of like, you know, I'm writing songs to like, you know, this or that. But like, honestly, I think it's pretty cool as musicians that we can leave some sort of stamp, like, on who we are as a person. Doesn't have to be grander, like anything that changes the world or anything. But like, I feel like even at this point in my life, I've already done at least a little something to leave. Like, people could be like, "Oh, what was Derek like?" or like, blah blah blah. And like, there's literally just some like evidence of who you are as a person, or like your, I don't know, like who you are. And I think also writing music, and after doing it for a little while, it's funny to look back and listen to stuff from a while ago and to see how you've like grown, and like how, like, as you
Yeah.
grow, your songwriting grows and everything. So I honestly do it to release my brain and release all the stuff that's going on in there. And then also in
Yes.
hopes that, you know, someday someone can look back at it and be like, "Oh, that's cool. That's like your weird Uncle Derek that you didn't, blah blah blah." Something like that.
Your weird Uncle Derek.
Yes.
That's what I'll be.
I love that.
You're gonna be everyone's weird Uncle Derek.
There we go.
All the listeners are now, they've penned you as that. Weird Uncle
That
Derek.
should be your next album name. Weird Uncle Derek.
That's
Oh
great.
my gosh. Wait, that would be so good.
That's
and you could
so
make
That
good.
is
merch.
really good.
Weird
I
Uncle
got-
Derek merch.
You're
Oh my
welcome for the
gosh.
great idea.
Yep.
I'll send you a
Yep.
cut for that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll send you an invoice.
Thank
Don't
you.
worry. We'll send you an invoice.
Yeah.
Also, this is a total side note, but you're really giving Disney princess vibes with all of the birds like singing in the
Oh.
background of your advice. It's like, wow. It really is like I'm watching a Disney movie.
I planned that.
It's like
Majestic.
Cinderella up in here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice backyard. Out here, all the birds are chirping out here in the Lakewood,
Yes.
Colorado.
When you started saying that, Caroline, I was like, what?
Yeah, you're like, what
I
are
was
you
like,
talking about?
Disney princess?
Here's my friend Nikki too.
Oh,
Nikki,
hello.
come here. Oh, she's shy.
She's shy.
No.
She's camera shy. She's like, you don't get this content for free.
Exactly. She's a star.
Yeah.
She's a star. So it's come to that
Yeah, yeah.
time in the episode where we play a song of yours, and the one you sent us is on the line. Do you want to just give us a little bit of a background
Yeah,
on it?
totally. It's kind of a funny story. I wrote this song right before COVID happened, and I definitely was like reaching a point of total burnout, just exhaustion of gigs and so much stuff. And the song is totally like a song written to the music industry of me being like, I'm like so sick of it or whatever. The line of the song is like, you know, your life is ours when you sign your name on the line, son, which is like, you know, signing a contract, yada, yada.
Yes.
There was a funny point in my life around then when someone reached out to me, and this happens all the time, and it was a total kind of scam, but they did like wave like a check of money in front of my face and be like, "Oh, we're interested in signing you," and blah, 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 all this stuff. And, I went through the process of like hiring a lawyer and like spending a good bit of money for him to be like, "Yeah, don't take that money," you know, kind of thing, which was
Yeah.
like a kind of a moment of my life. Like, and a good part of the song is kind of about that. And the funny thing was, I was so mad about the music industry, and then COVID happened, and I was working at the School of Rock, and I, you know, lost my job there, and then all my gigs were canceled. So it was like kind of like a watch out what you wish for kind of song.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But
Hey.
I finally got to record it. And this is recorded in Nashville at the Bomb Shelter Studios, which is honestly one of my favorite. It's been a dream studio for me to record at. And so I went down there and recorded 5 songs, and this is going to be the lead single off the EP, which will be coming out if everything goes right in June at some point. So this is the first time people are going to hear it, though. So this is like for the people who made it to the end of the episode. Good on you.
Oh my gosh, perfect. Well, yeah, because we have your episode actually coming out June 27th.
Oh, sick.
We're like recording
Oh,
ahead
this
of
is
time.
amazing.
So this is perfect to
That's
advertise
great.
your EP.
Nice. Wow, that's awesome.
Look at that. Look how we
We're
planned
also
that.
pro.
Wow. Wow. Crazy.
That's
and I
amazing.
think you played this song at that So Far that we played together, and I loved it. So I'm so excited that I get the like pre-released version.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yes.
It's all everything is played by me except for the drummer who played drums and percussion. And yeah, this is the song recorded in Nashville. And yeah, thanks for letting me send it to you guys and taking a listen. I appreciate that too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Also,
oh my
great
gosh.
advice. Hire a lawyer. Don't sign a contract without hiring a lawyer. You don't know what you're doing unless you've gone to law school.
And sadly, people are going
This
to
is advice
trying to
for
scam
people.
you. And us musicians, we got
Yes.
stars in our eyes, you know.
Mhm. We're
So
creatives.
true.
We don't know how to
We're like-
read. Don't try us.
I'm actually illiterate. Just kidding.
That the lawyer will help with that.
Yeah. Well, this is On the Line by Derek
Woo,
Dames Ohl.
Woo!
Years ago, a dream was all I had left to live. My name in lights, black limousine, and my song stuck in your head. So I hit the road for every last bar dive that hide my sorrow. Without a bed, drive through the night, back to tomorrow. Years go by and a wonder sits as this road just a dead end. Like a lost old song crumpled up in the bottom of my trash bin. But it hurts you just to think that way and look down at what you've done. So pack it up, the pedal forth to beat that setting sun. You should've left your heart at home, 'cause this world was built for freaks. And they'll chew you up and spit you out, leave you lying on the street. Well, now you take my hand and I'll take yours, show you the way, open your doors. What's ours is yours when you sign your name on the line, son. As sweet as the first time your teeth sing. Ever since I've seen that finish line, I've really started to think that this race was made for lunatics and businessmen alike. Take your pride and leave you lying by the side. You should have left your heart at home, 'cause this world was built for freaks. They chew you up, they spit you out, leave you lying on the street. Well, now you take my hand and I'll take yours, show you the way, open your doors. What's ours is yours when you sign your name on the line, son. Well, your life is ours when you sign